Within days of joining the Entourage, I had dates on dates on dates lined up out in San Francisco. I deleted all of my dating apps after I joined the Entourage, never been on them since. Never have to go out to bars or nightclubs to line up dates. I have a skill set and a group that has my back so that I can get a date whenever I want, genuinely whenever I want. I've landed in new countries and gotten 3 dates lined up on my first 3 days, all because of Cold Approach and the guys that are surrounding me. Joining the Entourage caused me to overkill this area of my life. I got way better at setting up dates than I ever needed to. And I'm sure this is music to your ears if you're a guy who's struggling in your dating life right now, because you want to know that you're gonna reap some benefits from joining a group of guys. If you join the Entourage, right, obviously you have to earn your way in, but if you do, then you're gonna be instantly connected with a global network of the best guys when it comes to Cold Approach and dating lives overall. Okay, so I just wanted to take a few minutes to tell you about the best virtual network I've ever been a part of. It's called the Entourage. My name's Efrem, and I've been a member of the Entourage since 2023. And after getting coaching with Christian, I didn't really know what I was going to do afterwards, and I was worried that I would have to start approaching women all on my own, and I was scared about it. And so that's where he introduced the solution to me of the Entourage. So once I earned my way in, I had no idea what to expect, but yeah, my expectations were completely exceeded after I got the ball rolling. So the easiest way to describe the Entourage is we're a private global network of A players. We come from different cultures, different backgrounds, different industries, and I really mean it when I say global. We've got guys in Southeast Asia, like Bangkok. We got guys in Bali, London, the Baltics, different countries out there, Portugal, Spain, the US, myself and a couple other guys. I'm from San Francisco. And then we've also got guys in Central America and a couple in South as well. So the reason I'm bringing all this up is because I didn't really know the importance of a network when it came to dating. And I'm aware that most guys, when they're considering joining the Entourage, what's top of mind for them is the dating growth that they're going to experience. So I'm going to highlight my dating growth first, and then I'm going to go over some extra benefits that I got from the Entourage that I wasn't expecting at all. When it comes to dating growth, where was I when I joined the Entourage? So before getting coached by Christian, I was swiping on dating apps for hours at a time, as you probably are as well. Nothing to show for it. This one's embarrassing to admit, but I was mass DMing girls on Instagram, and I was sending them the same meme trying to shoot my shot, and I was just getting left on delivered over and over and over again. And the craziest part is I already had a bustling social circle. I had a stellar career. So I was a 6-figure software engineer. I was working remotely. And my friends and I organized events. We played sport. I was always in the gym. And I couldn't figure out why my dating life continued to lag behind. So when Christian posed the idea of me joining the Entourage, I realized just how important a network really is when it comes to dating growth specifically. So the early days in the Entourage when I joined, a lot of what I was doing was, firstly, I was scared that because I had been coached in person, and now that I was back home in San Francisco and I didn't really have people in my close network that knew about Cold Approach and that wanted to improve their dating lives, I was scared that I wouldn't know what to do and that I would kind of regress. And so the Entourage entirely solved this fear. So what I would do is I would text the group when I was going out for sessions. I would also send little voice notes saying, all right, boys, I'm going out for a session. Immediately, I was met with encouragement from the other senior members of the group, telling me what I should be focusing on and just generally giving me encouragement. And then I would go out for the session, I would put in my reps, I would approach some girls. Sometimes, some days would go great, some days would go terrible, but they always had my back. And so every time I would tell them about how the session went, I would get tips from the more senior members about what to improve. I would send my audio messages that I got from the interactions into the group, and the members would audit it and tell me what I need to focus on. And so and I mean this, within days of joining the Entourage, I had dates on dates on dates lined up out in San Francisco. And this was the fear that I had, right? Because I was like, yeah, now I'm all on my own. I don't know what I'm gonna do alone now. Can I go out there and figure this out? But they were always just one voice note away, always in my pocket, which I found very, very valuable. And so it's crazy because now I've been a member for 3 years and my dating life has improved to the point where I don't even focus on it anymore. And I mean that. So I've been on so many dates, I genuinely can't even count now. And it's become so much less of a priority in my life that I rarely even focus on dates these days. So I kind of, like, joining the Entourage caused me to overkill this area of my life. I got way better at setting up dates than I ever needed to. And I'm sure this is music to your ears if you're a guy who's struggling in your dating life right now, because you want to know that you're gonna reap some benefits from joining a group of guys. Now, one thing, I probably should have mentioned this in the beginning, but the common thread between all of the members in the Entourage is we're all sick at cold approach. And none of us started out that way. We all started out shit scared, just like me, probably just like you, just like Christian even. But the key is we help each other grow throughout these fears, and we help each other transcend all of the issues in our life so that we can get way better and become real social weapons when it comes to cold approach. So if you join the Entourage, right, obviously you have to earn your way in, but if you do, then you're going to be instantly connected with a global network of the best guys when it comes to cold approach and dating lives overall. And I mean that when I say, like, best results. If you could see some of the chats popping off on a daily basis, this guy over here is saying I had a date here, this guy in another country, I had a few dates here. It's actually insane. So that's just the dating side of things, right? So obviously, this should go without saying, but I deleted all of my dating apps after I joined the Entourage, never been on them since. Never have to go out to bars or nightclubs to line up dates. I have a skill set and a group that has my back so that I can get a date whenever I want, genuinely whenever I want. I've landed in new countries and gotten 3 dates lined up on my first 3 days, all because of cold approach and the guys that are surrounding me. So that's dating growth, right? But there are a few other benefits that people tend to not recognize when it comes to a global network of A players. So the first is accountability. So when I say A players, I mean guys that are at the top of their industry and at the top of their game. So I'm talking Hollywood actors, I'm talking elite athletes, like guys that run marathons, which is crazy. I'm not one of those guys. I'm talking software engineers, I'm talking agency owners, I'm talking international teachers, I'm talking enterprise high-ticket salesmen. So guys that are at the top of their game. But the key is, each and every one of these guys also has the balls to walk over to any girl that they like in the daytime. And the reason why this is important is because there's like a level of mutual respect between all of the members, because we know what it took to get to this point, not just in life overall, but specifically when it comes to our dating lives. And so that's very important. But yeah, the next topic I wanted to discuss is accountability. So this one was a big one for me when I first joined. So obviously I discussed how I would send voice notes into the group telling guys when I was going out for sessions, but it actually goes a lot deeper than dating. So at the time when I joined the Entourage, I had this big vice in my life, which is I was smoking weed on a daily basis. And it's crazy when you think about it, right? Because every other area of my life I was excelling in. I was able to become a software engineer and do all this stuff, but yeah, unfortunately I was a pothead. And it was really holding me back in all of these different areas in my life. It was just stunting my growth overall. How I use the Entourage to rectify that is, I remember one day, this is winter of 2023, I believe, or like December time in 2023. So I sent a message into the group and I said, all right, boys, so I've been hiding this thing from you guys, and I want to correct it because I feel as though it's stunting my growth. And so I told them about the fact that I was smoking every day, and immediately I got rushed with encouragement from other guys who'd either gone through something similar or had somebody in their close circle experience it as well. And so they were giving me tips on how to get over it. But also the important part is they were keeping me accountable. They were checking in with me on a daily basis to make sure that I was able to kick this habit. And I was. And it's crazy how much my life improved when I was able to get rid of it. Yeah, and so accountability is something that guys don't really think about, because it's important not just for dating. I mean, it's very important when it comes to cold approach, having guys that have your back, that can call you out on your shit when you're slacking, but also the other areas of life that are somewhat related to your potential and you reaching it. And so, yeah, that was a big issue in my life that was holding me back, and I would not have kicked it had I not been a part of the Entourage, genuinely, because I wouldn't have anybody else that was counting on me, right? And so now I had guys that were at the top of their game that were telling me, all right, you told us you would get over this, I expect you to do it, check in with us, and they would check in with me, and it was a great symbiotic relationship that way. because I would help other guys, hold them accountable when it came to cold approach. And once I had gotten all of the dates that I could ever even want, then I wanted to start improving the other areas of my life. So accountability was huge. The next area I wanted to talk about was just overall life trajectory and growth. So this is a big one, and one that I know for a fact no other group covers if their main focus is cold approach, except for the Entourage. So I discussed how I started out as a software engineer, and a couple months into being a member of the Entourage, I realized that I didn't like that my income was capped. So I was on salary, of course. It was a healthy 6 figures, don't get me wrong, but I wanted to make even more. So I decided I wanted to transition into tech sales. Now, here's the key. This is when the big players in the different industries really comes into play. So Christian immediately mentioned to me, I was discussing something with him privately, and he told me that I should connect with one of the members that owned his own business, and he was this big mogul, right, 7-figure earner. And he told me that he had extensive experience with sales. And so I reached out to him, and I was able to set up a side meeting privately. And he told me exactly what I needed to fix. He told me I should take a course. He told me how to tighten up my resume. He told me how to do outreach. And literally within a month of having that conversation, I landed my first tech sales job, all fully remote, which was conducive to the lifestyle I was trying to live. And so when it comes to like overall growth and life trajectory, you immediately getting connected to guys like me and the other guys in the group will immediately give you different people to reach out to that are in all different industries, which if you're looking to get into them or you're looking for advice that's related to what they do, very, very important. Yeah, and so I got into tech sales, and funny enough, within a month, genuinely, within a month I was top of the board. So all of my coworkers had been doing it for a year, a couple months. First month I was top of the boards because of the skills that I developed in the group, and the audacity of cold approach, of course, and all those skills that are related to that. But very quickly I realized that it actually wasn't as great as I thought it would be. So the lifestyle was shit. Also, my company that I was working for, even though it was fully remote, they didn't let me travel outside of the country. And so I decided that I wanted more, right? I didn't want to cap myself at tech sales. And it's interesting because a lot of people would look at a software engineer or a tech salesman and go, huh, that's like the career that we're aiming for. That's most people's ceilings. But when you join the Entourage, that becomes your floor, right? Things that other people think are impressive, you look at the other guys in the group and go, all right, compared to these guys, I want to get where they are. And so I need to do things that are outside of what most people are willing to do. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because when I realized that it wasn't giving me the lifestyle that I wanted, I sent another message in the group, and I was flooded with encouragement from all the guys that were already living the life that I wanted to, right? The remote entrepreneurs who had their own international businesses. And they told me that based on what they knew about me, they had known me for a few years at this point, that I had the skills necessary to become self-employed and run my own company. And so now, present day, the guy who's looking at you in the camera, that's exactly what I do. So I've been to 6 countries just this year alone. Before joining the Entourage, I'd never been outside of the country. So I run my own company. So I only work for myself now, which I'm so happy about. I wake up when I want. I wake up in my dream. Yeah, I don't have to answer to a boss anymore. And again, I would not have gotten here if it weren't for the guys that are in my corner that are always one phone call or one voice message away. Anytime I need something, I just shoot it into the group, and I always get advice, I always get feedback, I always get encouragement. And when I'm in more of a lull phase of my life, I always get a kick up the ass as well, right? They call me out when I need to be called out. When you join the Entourage, you instantly get connected to guys that live all around the world. So just this year, I've met up with, I think, 7 or 8 of the members in the Entourage on these trips that I've gone on. So I met up with a couple when I was in Serbia. I met up with a few when I was in London. I met up with one when I was in LA as well. Yeah, so one of the members actually allowed me to stay in his place because I was on a business trip out in LA, and we had never met in person. But because we had that mutual respect and trust, since we both earned our way into the Entourage, he opened me with open arms. He welcomed me with open arms, told me that I could crash at his place for a couple of nights. We went out for drinks, we went out to Approach, and yeah, it was just a great time overall. So all this to say, the Entourage is probably the biggest thing in my life that has caused all of these changes and improvements. And if I wasn't a part of the group, I probably would just be on the same track that I was on before I got around Christian, which is smoking weed every day. I'd pretty much plateaued career-wise. I thought that software engineering was good enough for me, and even though I didn't like it, I figured it pays me enough. I was swiping on apps. I probably would still be there doing that. But because I got around the right people, I was able to break free of all of that, and now I'm living the life that I want, and it's so crazy to think about, but I really am. And so yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I know a lot of guys would benefit from joining this group. I'll see you inside.